having us here today, and a special welcome to our delegation from Uganda, Mr. Rawogo and your team from Paceid. It's a pleasure to see you here in Guangdong, in Guangzhou. When Uganda hosted the 19th summit of the non-aligned movement, the President of Uganda reiterated the importance of relations between Uganda and China. If I may quote, "From joining hands to oppose colonialism and hegemonism and striving for national liberation, to strengthening unity, cooperation, and jointly promoting development and revitalization, the destiny of the African and Chinese people has always been linked. One of the strongest links between China and Uganda is through trade, and it is well-established fact that China is Uganda's biggest trading partner. And it isn't even just trade between two nations that is of importance. It's the access that China has provided to so many young Ugandans to create for themselves decent livelihoods. The availability of technology, ease of shipping, and the overall market opportunities China has created, making something for everyone, means young people in Uganda are able to identify products and meaningfully participate in these opportunities. But there's another side of this story. Uganda is a highly productive country, producing, among many other things, coffee, sesame seeds, cassava flour, shea butter, beef, vanilla, and cotton. The agriculture sector is an extremely important sector for Uganda, contributing 32% of GDP and employing 72% of the population. To this end, China offers market opportunities that both our countries see as mutually beneficial, and this is one of the reasons why China has granted zero tariffs on 98% of taxable items from Uganda and will support Uganda in exporting more value-added products into the Chinese market. As a country, we're extremely proud to have reached this point with China and are looking forward to a future of improved connection. And as the President of Uganda so eloquently put it, if you support what I produce, you're supporting my prosperity, and when I buy what you produce, I'm supporting your prosperity. The relationship between Uganda and China is rooted in friendship, and we therefore view each other's development as its own opportunity, and together we seek to promote mutual development and prosperity. Our delegation from Uganda is here to support us in this mission. The establishment of trade hubs, one of which will be opened here in China, this will be one of the 25 hubs across the world that will provide quality markets research and trade information, promotion of adherence to international trade standards, and creating an export-specific infrastructure that provides access to finance to underwrite orders. So thank you very much, Paceid. As I mentioned earlier, Uganda is a highly productive country with the ability to grow almost anything, and not to mention the vast amount of resources. There's a definite need to improve, and in particular in the area of value addition, and these are the immediate opportunities of our counterparts in China that we invite you to explore. Working together in friendship to improve the competitiveness of Uganda's exports gives China access to quality materials, not just for consumption, but also in the manufacturing, including the movement of some of the manufacturing value chains to Uganda. The investment opportunities are vast, and the market opportunities are even greater. Uganda is strategically located in the heart of Africa, providing immediate access to a market of 174 million people within the East African community, and with additional access to other African markets under the African Continental Free Trade Area, which was announced by the African Union in 2018. The African Continental Free Trade Area is projected to become the world's largest trading bloc, linking 55 countries and 1.3 billion people with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion US. There's no greater time to join Uganda and Africa's success story, and it is my sincere hope that we will all respond and participate in the initiatives that have been discussed and presented here by Mr. Odrek. And I look forward to seeing you travel to Uganda on our national airline which we are planning to launch a direct flight from Entebbe, Uganda to Bayonne Gwanjo Airport by the end of the year. Thank you very much to the organizers for putting this conference together.
We can slaughter 20% of our herd, which is 2 to 3 million animals a year, and we still have more animals to do because we are 16, 17 million cows. So if you cull just about 15 to 20%, and you specifically focus on export, we can sustain it. But I hear you very well. You must slaughter a herd that is growing. It can't be just constant. So here are the entry points for ensuring sustainability once we have orders. The first one is what we are trying to do, this export fund. When there is an order, we incentivize, we give support, we give working capital to companies that raise animals, so that it takes 15 to 18 months to have an animal. But in some markets like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, they want 12 months animal, because 12 months means that it's softer, it's tender meter. Forget the term. So 18 is the highest. We can go up to 9 months. We would, one of the entry points, support whoever has an order that China has given. Number two, we have a land tenure system that, so our constitution says land belongs to the people. So you have to negotiate certain land tenure systems in order for you to invest on land. So we have large scale, a few large scale commercial ranchers who we can work with to ensure that there is sustainable supply with a standard that is required. But that's not enough. There are government ranches that I can start with even tomorrow. If I have a partner who wants to raise animals, put a slaughterhouse for direct export of meat. These ranches are available. All we need is to sign agreements and give a portion dedicated to the China market so that the company is participating in the production chain, so that you can supply yourself animal feeds. That's a charge, so you supply others. You are able to raise an animal on your own so that you reduce the cost of production by supplying or delays getting from farmers. You can also start by processing, slaughtering in the current abattoirs. We have some 16 abattoirs of small capacity. We can offer you purchase of one of them or set up your own depending on the market you have. So this can sustain supply. But let me tell you, the market is a beautiful thing. That's why Deng Xiaoping said it doesn't matter whether the cat is black or white, as long as it catches the mice. The market is an incentivizer. As long as people know that there is purchase center for animals, they will quickly organize their systems because they'll get a good price, they will supply the plant. And the work of Paceid is to stand in the middle as a catalyst to ensure that if there is a deal, we work through it. One of my officers will tell you we're working with the Abu Dhabi companies, UAE companies, in coffee, in beef, in rice, but we follow through on a weekly basis. Where is the problem? Why is this delayed? And for me now, as an older me, I know that coordination is even more important than execution. To coordinate things is what will help you do to sustain the supply. How many products have you brought to China? So I can tell you I'm fully aware that duty-free, quota-free product entry into China for Uganda, almost 95% of agricultural products come duty-free or quota-free. They are in the schedule. Ambassador Judith was showing me the list there. I have that list, but I also know that I cannot take on 100 products if I cannot sell the first 5. So what we are doing is what the China market seems to give us a signal. And there are about 6 or 7 of them. One is avocado. Very good to hear that someone visited Uganda and saw the avocados and felt that they are cheap. But somehow the supply of China does not have a protocol yet. Uganda has written to China, the Customs and General Administration, to start the process for protocol on avocados. Now, if I can get an order of avocados, this one is music to my ears, then I can now use that to pursue the protocol to be signed quickly. But also, if I can have someone here who I am talking to with Ambassador Judith and say, how far are we today? How far with Kampala? We cut through the red tape because government bureaucracy is not only in Uganda, it's also here. I know that it's in America, it's everywhere. It takes time for government to act. But when there is pressure, based on orders, we work together and get it done. The other one is bananas. We have heard that bananas here, banana flour and sweet bananas and yellow bananas that you get from Peru, that you get from Ecuador. Once we start on it, the market is good. We have also heard about pineapples. I am told that for you to eat a good pineapple in many parts of China, you cut the pineapple, you first dip it in salty water, and then you eat it. Because the pineapple here is acidic. Ours is juicy, watery, yellow, actually I think it's pink. And many times we don't even have the market for it. It costs about 20 cents a piece, 20 cents of $1, a large pineapple. So I'm looking for who can we partner with to make pineapple rings. You cut a fresh pineapple, you put it in a jar, you keep it under the right conditions, you send it to the supermarket. I have heard about mangoes, sesame. We have a lot of sesame, sim in northern Uganda. We are going to start work on the protocol. Coffee, chilies, fish malls. We have written to the government of China. We signed everything, but the customs department sent back the documents. Just now before I came, I found out that our side is done. And we will be following through. Fish malls and fish. Macadamia, sorghum, castor oil. We used to sell you castor oil from 1962 to 1972. When we had problems with Idi Amin, that trade was diverted to India. Now there is one Chinese company trying to do that just about 2 hours out of Kampala, and we'll be getting a protocol on castor oil. Cocoa, I can go. So before I can sell 6,000 products, it is better to start with 5 or 6, even 2. Because to get a container of something out of Uganda into Shenzhen, it helps you to learn how to get this done. That's why we want a point in Uganda and a point here, and some companies in between. I'm taking a lot of time on this question, but I just wanted to assure you, Professor Liu, that sustainable supply we can do as long as there are orders. And these products that are duty-free, water-free, which have no protocols, give us a signal. The market giving us a signal, we focus on that product. I am hoping that, Victor, when we are able to open a trade hub, we are going to conduct some deep survey and not rely on what people are telling us. Just conduct a short survey and see where products are coming from, how they eat it, in what packaging they need it, when they eat it, is it breakfast or dinner? Do they give it at functions? We need that information so that we can share that information with our producers. The trade agreement between China and Uganda, I think I have answered a bit of that. I don't have to repeat it. Vocational training, Professor Liu, I really agree with you. So I want to introduce the university. If we work together, the Institute of African Studies, Guangdong University, I would like to introduce cooperation between the university and our Ministry of Education. Why? We have a department called Department of Industrial Training. It does certification for plumbers, food processors, electricians, and in the oil and gas sector, they are doing what you call welding, to weld pipes. But when you see that the skills in China are now expensive and jobs are migrating to developing countries, we need to train people at home for our companies, Chinese companies, to find labor. And therefore, I want to sign an MOU between you or the institution you propose with Department of Industrial Training as early as next week, if you're ready, because that's important that we start that skills transfer. I think I want to stop there. I liked the question on pineapple, on avocado, because we've struggled with, we now have a bit of capacity in central and western Uganda on avocados. In fact, my deputy chairman sells avocados. But avocado for me is not just to eat it for a meal. We can squeeze oil out of it. The skin can produce some fertilizers. The seed can be reproduced into something. So I want kind of a combined industrial chain on avocado, but let's start with the fruit. And in my opinion, avocados will lead you to pineapples, but they will lead you to tourism. You had Hiso Lake Victoria. That's the second largest freshwater lake in the world. There is absolutely very limited economic activity from fishing to leisure transportation. We want boats on that lake that can take tourists. I'm looking for who can give me a ship. I jump out of a plane in a Entebbe, I go in my hotel. I don't have to go on the road. All these are investment opportunities. And I'm aware that in August, I think Ambassador Nsababere will need to check this. His Excellency, the Ambassador of China to Uganda, told me that they are going to host a symposium of tour operators from all over China with Uganda, so that we can take them to game parks, we can show them what we are doing, the gorillas, and be able to create that exchange, because tourists bring culture, they bring food, they bring tastes, you get to know each other in that manner. I hope that answers the questions. Thank you very much. I have had a meeting with a consultant, a South African consultant hired by government, to be able to use the Cape Town experience on how you attract exhibitions into the city. Now, internally, there are some things that we are working on as Paceid, and you're kind of reminding me that Paceid needs to take up us, because this is tourism, as one of our products. But we don't have to wait for setting up this committee or a secretariat in Ministry of Tourism for us to help you if you are ready. We can start right away and answer some questions. So, Paceid is working, for example, this November, we want to have a global marathon. You know that cities, London has a marathon, Tokyo has a marathon, so we are registering a marathon to bring in about 25,000 to 30,000 people in November. And we want to make sure that every year we have these runners. I'm just giving you one aspect, sports tourism. They would like to talk about esports, they would like to talk about shirts and merchandise, Nikes and others. So that pressure means that we have to start on exhibition and conferencing facility of an international nature. And so we opened in January what we think is so far the largest conference facility in the southern part of Kampala, near the lake. We have a facility that can seat up to 4,000 people inside, and it can exhibit outside, say, another 5,000 to 6,000 square meters of space. So all combined, we have about 10,000 in one location. The one that I know, if you've gone online, you check Speak Resort Munyonyo. or Speak Resort, you Google, you see, it's a bit of space, but it's small. You need about 50,000 square meters of hotel, conferencing, large facility to have exhibitions in one place. So there are two things we could do. First, there is a policy on importation of anything that promotes tourism, from beds to cutlery to screens. I think that policy still stands, as long as you are increasing space for tourism, for bed capacity. We can look at that law, so just check for me when we're more settled, so we can answer him specifically. What does that law say on tax incentives for investors in the tourism industry, hotel and hospitality and exhibitions? Number two, there are private landowners, and Alan, you should find that piece of land that you gave to some people and share with him. Private landowners who, because sometimes people have no time to wait for government land, or they get government land after they have demonstrated that they have maxed out on their own. We can find private land developers between the city of Entebbe, which is the Beijing of Uganda, to have a chat with us, with him, when we finish the meeting. And if you are serious, let's take it up. Because me, I don't have time to waste. If you want to do it, I want you in Uganda mid-May. And then we can sit down and figure out how to get large exhibition space for the country.